Hi, I'm Caitlin Kilgallen. I'm the Associate Library Director at the School of Visual Arts, and today I'm just going to talk to you about, give you an overview of what we do at SVA in regards to library instruction. So to give you background on SVA and who we are a small to medium-sized art school here in New York City, also in the blackout zone. We stretch from Gramercy in the east all the way over to Chelsea in the west, and our full-time enrollment, we have 4,000 students. And of those, we have 3,700 of them are undergraduates spread among 11 majors. And our graduate student population, 300 grad students, and they're spread among 20 different programs, and those are some of the different degrees that they can get as well. Also, feels like they're multiplying, our graduate programs are growing. SVA is, one of SVA's strengths or appeals is that all of our faculty members are working experts in their field. So, and they're also given enormous amount of freedom as to the content of their courses. So pretty much at SVA, you write a course description, it gets put in the catalog, people sign up, you're in business. And it works, that model also works for entire departments getting formed as well. So it's, the approach, what that does is it allows for an enormously creative place. And I feel like at SVA, we're really tapping into New York City's creative class, and that translates for the students into real world learning experiences, and then as well as contacts and internships. And on a practical level, that also translates into 845 faculty members that are all adjunct. And a little further on, I'll talk how that can pose some challenges for us. So our library instruction program, so that freedom also trickles down to the librarian level. We have a lot of freedom to what we want to do. We're not told what we have to teach or anything. We just know, just teach some library instruction and help graduate some information literate students. So a little bit about our program. When I first started working at SVA, it was originally linked, the library instruction program was originally linked to the humanities department. And that was a not very satisfying experience for everybody involved, because most of our resources, both print and online, were art-based. So what we did to remedy that is that we tied the library instruction program to the art history department. And all of the students have to take a required course. It's world art, depending on what department you're in, what major you're in, the freshman, you have to take a world art, film history, photo history, or history of animation courses. So that's where we're teaching the bulk of our courses. So what do we teach? We are the 45 to 50 minute, depending on the attention span of the students, one-shot library instruction deal. Again, we're teaching those what I just mentioned in the freshman required courses. And we teach, of those courses, we teach approximately 25 a semester. We also do graduate and humanities and studio courses on request, and we do approximately 10 of those a semester. And who teaches? There's 3 of us. So in addition to myself, there is the head of reference services and the periodicals pictures librarian. So there's 3 of us. And as you can tell from just our titles, we do have other areas and departments that we're in charge of. And in addition to that, all of us, the 3 of us who are teaching these courses, we have between 2 and 4 hours of reference desk a day. We are also the subject specialists and doing collection development as well. Then, of course, on top of that, we're doing between 12 and 15 classes per semester that we're teaching. So within that one-shot constraint, what do we do to keep it fresh and relevant and vital? Pilot projects. We like pilot projects at SVA. So one of our first pilot projects that we did was, again, in the spirit, as my other speakers had mentioned, active learning. We had come up with a worksheet, a treasure hunt, a guide on this, a self-guided library tour. You could see, here it is. It's approximately 2 pages. We gave this to the student. It was in an effort to get them out and interacting with the collection and the material. So they have to find both articles and and books as well. There's also getting them interacting with the LC and working with actually finding books. So what happened with that? You know, we got the active learning, but the problem with that was a great idea, but there was no mechanism for feedback. So the librarians would end up with stacks of these graded self-guided tours in our office, and then like, now what? What do we do with this? But, you know, nonetheless, so it was a pilot project, so that was fine. But we did, you know, learn that the active portion was valuable. So our next idea was we did a citation worksheet, which was much smaller. So what we would do was we would give our lecture and definitely brain dump. I mean, everything, just showing subject searching and keyword searching and primary sources and secondary sources and interlibrary loan and just the whole thing. We would give them the huge brain dump, and then in conjunction with whatever their assignment was, whether it was photo history or history of animation, whatever their research paper that they had to do. So we would definitely gear our lecture towards their subject area and their assignment. Then we would give them this much smaller little sheet, and that they would go and then just find a book and article, and again, interact and just have something to leave the library and get them on the road towards their research. So what we found with that is it was too labor intensive. So we had a student, I'd say the average class size is about 20, 25 students or so, is that we found we would give our lecture and then we were almost redoing it 25 times individually. So that was great because the students got a lot. I felt like they were coming out of that with a lot of knowledge and individualized help, but it was a pilot project that was completely unscalable because in certain instances, all three of us would be in the classroom there. So to scale that to be campus-wide, that wasn't working either. So our current pilot that we're doing is. Again, I think both Barbara and Scott touched upon this, is our, we're calling it the inverted classroom. And again, being the guide on the side rather than the teach and the preach. So what we've done is rather than have students come to class and listen to us, or listen to our lecture and then leave and go do the actual work, we want them to come to the class already prepared with a little bit of knowledge. So with more questions and have a little bit more of an interactive experience. So to achieve that, we created this how do I section on the SVA website. And let's see if that'll link out to it. So we were contacting the faculty members beforehand and having their students come in and take a look at this and come into the class a little bit prepared. We didn't finish actually putting the content on there, I think, because of all the hats we're wearing. But you can see we've got a beginning. We've got a beginning, and again, it's in the pilot context. So that is our current pilot, our current idea, our current way to get the students involved and active and becoming information literate. So our goals in our program is definitely want to have a more interactive and active learning experience for the students. We also would like to reach more graduate and studio students. The ones that we do, those 10 classes that we are teaching this semester to the graduate and studio classes, they come to us. It's word of mouth. So we'd like to develop a much more formalized mechanism to get them and bring them into the library. We'd also like to reach our undergraduate population again as their upperclassmen a second time when they have to do their senior project. Again, get them at that point of need. We're always talking about and trying to integrate it. We would like to do some aspect of assessment, whether that's just something small for us, the teaching librarians, to get feedback on how we're doing and how we can improve and better serve the students, or whether the assessment could then be something to take it on to higher administration, or something that also could be helpful in our accreditation process and things like that as well. Our ultimate goal is, I think we would like to also write up one of those courses and get it in the course catalog and have a 4-credit research course. And I think the pilot projects are a way for us to get our feet wet and to get towards that ultimate goal. The challenges that we face are communication with faculty. It's difficult to communicate with faculty who don't even have offices or office hours. So, so that's one of the challenges we deal with. We're also challenged, we want to deal, linking the library visit to a paper, to an assignment, getting them at that point of need, of just scheduling it and correctly getting to them when they need us. We're also, another challenge and something we struggle with is that we have a huge range of research papers. We'll have freshmen or undergraduates who have had to write 15-page papers on beer production in Mesopotamia. That's a lot. We don't have a lot of things at the SVA library on beer production in Mesopotamia. And we have some things, but for an entire class. So, again, that communication with the faculty, maybe speaking to them beforehand, let them know like really what our resources are. And again, these are for the undergraduates. And then at the other end of the spectrum, we'll have what I call the touchy-feely paper, which is just go to the Met, find something you like, and write on it. There's really not, which is great, but as far as the library is concerned, there's not really a research component to that. So then we're, in front of this class and talking to them and trying to get them excited about putting in their login and password to get into JSTOR to find articles, and they don't even really need them. So again, I guess it's communication with the faculty to try and get some sort of a happy medium. So any advice such that I'm in any position to give is partner with anyone at your institution on campus who's interested or who will listen to your ideas. Pilot programs, they're great to just test out ideas to see what's happening. You can always find one. In our pilot program, sometimes they're with 3 or 4 faculty members. I mean, again, we're a small institution, but a pilot program does not have to be a huge thing. It can be very small, and you can get valuable lessons and things learned. And of course, in a pilot program, within that context, anything that doesn't go correctly or as you expected is a learning experience. Whereas if it's something you roll out and it doesn't work, it's an epic fail. So it protects you from the epic fails. Look for unexpected opportunities. Just whether that's through social media or at the the holiday party, or just be willing to again work with people who necessarily we aren't looking for partnerships, whether that's an administrator or whoever that may be. Be flexible and nimble. I should go back. And one of the pictures was the SVA. We have a library classroom, so we're very privileged that when the students come, that they can come and they have a 25-seat Mac computer classroom with a projection, so we can get to them that way. But many times the faculty members, they don't want to bring their class over to the library. It's too far to come to the east side. The library is on the east side. So rather than, it's like, oh, come on. We have the nice classroom. We have all of the materials there. It's like, fine. And we'll take our show on the road and we'll go to them. So I think that's just important, just to be flexible and nimble and do what you need to do to get what we have to offer in the hands of the people who need it. And also have a thick skin and don't be discouraged. I can't tell you how many times I've contacted department chairs, which I think is a brilliant idea, only to radio silence, and that is just not, it's nothing I've learned for me personally, nor my ideas. It's just people are busy, and sometimes I think that even though you didn't hear anything, well, try again next semester or another time. It's just so, don't be afraid to keep pitching your idea. So that's it. Thank you for listening.